My Picom allows me to move things really smoothly. Okay.
Oh, and it feels smooth. Like you said, the animations.
Yeah.
I don't see screen tearing.
No. It's really smooth.
What is Picom then? Is it?
So Picom is a compositor. Okay.
That's where you lose me. I have heard that word like 100 times. I don't know what it is. So Tony is asking, would love to hear Drew's thoughts on Butternotes.
I think he's trolling me just a little bit. My terminal of choice, which used to be Ghostty, is now Wezterm.
Let's talk about that. Why?
Okay.
Was it hype? You're in a safe space. You can say it here. How does the saying go? You cannot teach an old dog new tricks, or how is it?
Maybe. I think I have the potential to do better than what I currently am. And I'm just going to switch these between these two. Okay. But in my configuration, if I hit Super Shift L, it actually tells me all the layouts that I have. You know what? I don't want that in my stack. I can either drag it away from the stack and then either resize it or something like that. Free and open source software sometimes needs our help. Mm-hmm. It's like there is when you find something that you really like, I think you should contribute in some way to the project, I think.
If you're listening to this as a podcast, remember that it was originally recorded as a video. If you're not following along, you can go to my YouTube channel. My username is Linkarzu. And if you want to support me to keep this podcast going, you can donate in Ko-fi. I'm going to leave a link in the description. All right, so let's get started with this chapter then.
We're live on the 3 platforms. Okay.
Wow.
Hey, Drew.
Hey.
How's it going, man?
It's going well, thank you. How about yourself?
I'm doing good as well. Friday evening, I don't do much anymore. It didn't used to be the case.
You're so old, man. You're so old.
Yeah, I'm getting old.
Oh my!
I just do boring stuff. I don't drink anymore and any of that. So, thank you for being here, Drew. Really appreciate it.
It's cool.
And
happy to be here.
Yeah, thanks. So I watched you on Matt's podcast, right? And I saw that you DistroTube did a shout out as well. Like,
did he? I didn't even. Oh, wait. Like on his channel?
On his channel.
I didn't remember that, or wasn't aware of it.
Yeah, so that you could reach 10,000 subscribers. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember that?
Yeah, I do. Now I do. Yeah.
Oh, okay. We have Tony in the chat as well. Hey, Tony. So I see all these kids talking about distros, and they talk about Arch, they talk about Gentoo, they talk about Nix, and they fight between them. It's like little groups, and and I just see you sitting there like a wise man, just chilling with Debian. And
I'm stinking old. Is that what you're trying to say? I mean, is that?
No, you're wise, man. You're wise. And
all right.
I don't feel like, excited to daily drive Arch or Nix or anything like that, or Gentoo, not even Gentoo. I don't even feel like remotely, interested in trying Gentoo. And I see that you're using Debian, and everyone around, in the community that you're on, I think, is talking about other distros. Why Debian?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I haven't tried anything else. I have. I've tried Arch. I've tried a number of other things. I think my first distro was Linux Mint, which isn't that far away from Debian, but still, I've made the rounds, as it were. And when I started using Debian several years ago, it was something. It was like, oh, see, this is what I'm looking for. It's completely. You make what it is. You are the one that is controlling everything, basically. Much like Arch, but I had so many breakage points when I was using Arch, and that was probably user error more than anything else. I was like, oh, let me get this. The fact of the matter is, do I need the latest and greatest software all the time? And the answer is no, I don't. I just want to get my stuff done. I just want to be able to be productive. I think that's the bottom line. And I don't want to update my system, which you don't have to. I mean, if you're on a different platform or a different OS, but with Debian, the packages are sometimes a little bit on the older side. It has been in the testing branch for 2 years prior to a stable release. And is that okay? To me, it is, because I don't really care that much about having some functionality that might be 1% or 2% better than the newest version. So yeah, fewer updates for me is completely fine, because at the end of the day, if it is an update, it's usually security focused and is less experimental, and you're going to have basically a more hardened operating system because it is generally just security focused.
Okay, so stability is the main thing. You don't need to have the latest and greatest, and that's
Yeah.
what I think about as well. Because I'm like, why do people use Arch? Do I really need the latest packages? And I ask myself, why would I need the latest packages? Of course, if there's a feature, let's say that OBS releases a feature that I want to try, okay, would make sense. But
Yeah.
um,
I mean, there is flatpaks. I'm not a big fan, to be honest with you. Like I said before, I kind of generally stick to what is in the Debian stable packages. There are exceptions, though.
like which
it's like,
ones?
so Neovim is one, and again, I'm gonna say Neovim. I have a repo at Codeberg which has my Neovim config. It also has the newest Debian package for Neovim. So if anyone wants to go there, they can actually download that Deb package and install 0.11.4, which is the newest release of Neovim. Whereas if you are trying to get it from the Debian packages, it's 0.10. something right now. So if you want something 11 or 0.11 or better, you're going to either have to crunch it yourself, or you can go to my repo and just download it, and it's right there. So
Because I had an interview with Tony. You know Tony because he was
yeah,
on
no,
Matt's.
Tony's in the chat too.
Yeah, Tony's in the
Yeah.
chat. And he said that he doesn't like Debian because he has to build Neovim from source, but he didn't know about this package that you have. So would you say that is skill issue on his side?
Maybe he just wasn't aware that I had it. But then again, some people, it's like if I say sudo apt install Neovim, it's not going to give him what he's looking for, and that sometimes is challenging for people. It's like, I don't want this version. I want the better, the later version, and I get that. It happens. Only for me, with me, only for a few things. I only want, like, Neovim is maybe the exception rather than the rule.
Yep. That is actually one of the fewest or of the few packages that I would like to have on the latest version because, yeah, there's usually new features and I do test them. Like there's Neovim 12. Is that the latest one? The one that is going to
If
be
you're
released?
a dev, then yes. But if you're just using stable, it's 0.11.4 as of today, as a matter of fact. I go back and periodically look to make sure that I have the newest stable branch. Yeah.
Yep. I'm still on 11, but there's a feature in 12 that I want to try out, but I don't install it. I always run stable as well. There are exceptions. I did it with Ghostty because I wanted the cursor and it was only available in the nightly version before it was released. So I just installed the nightly version, but I usually don't do that. I just run stable versions as well. And what are your thoughts on flatpaks and app images? Because
I don't use them generally. There's going to be an exception here and there. Flatpaks rather, no, I don't use any of them. But I have used an app image for the Zen browser, as a matter of fact, is one of the things that I've been kind of like looking at to potentially use more of. And that for Debian is in an app image. I think Florp as well, but I could be wrong about that. So yeah, I mean, there's been a few things that I've tried as an app image, but that's, like I said, that's maybe one at the very most. Right now on my machine, there's one, and that's the Zen browser.
Do you have anything against app images or flatpaks?
No, I just don't see the need for me. Like I said before, the packages that are in the Debian repos are tried and true. They're tested to, for years sometimes before they make it into the stable branch. I rarely, like I said, need to go outside of that. Like, for example, a lot of people say, I need the latest version of OBS. And I don't want to say I'm a content creator because that's just way overstating. I have a YouTube channel. Content creator is not what I do for a living. You know what I'm saying? So, I use the OBS that's just part of the Debian stable packages, and it's fine.
Works well?
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I barely edit my videos anyway. I have the most convoluted way to actually edit my videos. It's ridiculous. I don't use Kdenlive. I don't use anything that actually like clips or edits my videos. I will do like this is, and you didn't ask this question, but I'm going to answer it anyway. I'll record like a snippet, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. That's a good 45 seconds that I can just stop. Okay. And then I'll have like, even if it's a 15, 20, 25-minute video, I'll have all these snippets, and then in command line, I just merge them as one file and upload them. Like that's the extent of I use MKV merge and command line, and that's the extent of my editing or how I build my YouTube videos.
And isn't it too difficult, like, to keep track? Okay, so this segment goes first, then this one. Isn't
my naming convention is 1.mkv, 2.mkv, and that's it. That's like I said. And if I have to switch them, I just say, oh no, 3 is now 2, and 2 is now 3.
Okay, makes sense. Okay, so you
I'm the worst when it comes to it. I don't want to do it, but I'll just like if I can do one command. Actually, I built a bash script that just looks at that one directory, and if it sees 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on .mkv, it just like strings it all together, and boom, I'm done. It just says output.mkv is here, and it gets uploaded to YouTube.
And that's pretty awesome, actually, because saves you a lot of time, I guess. Do you usually re-record clips, or you get them on the first shot?
No.
You don't worry about it too much.
No. Listen, a lot of people are like, I do it for fun. That's truly the only reason. In fact, I was hesitant to even have like, or to join the ad. I don't even know, dude. The ad thing where you actually can make money on YouTube. I didn't do it for 2 years. I had no desire to like make anything on YouTube. In fact, I felt a little weird about it because that just implies that my content is worth anything at all. So why? It's like, it's just there for my enjoyment more than anything else. Why do I feel like I need to, make anything from, which I barely make anything from. It's not like I have a massive channel or anything like that. But at the end of the day, it is truly for my own entertainment, for fun for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. And the audience can feel that, because when you start just focusing on ads and trying to sell them stuff, they feel it. And I don't like it too much either. What are your thoughts on sponsorships, by the way? Like,
I don't.
No,
I'm not doing that.
No, never taking any sponsorships.
No. I have been. Listen, I'm not DT. I'm not going to have 250,000 users or subscribers to my channel and stuff like that. In fact, when I hit 10,000, like you were just describing, it's like I felt weird. It felt really weird. I don't know what it is now. Is it 10.5 or something like that?
10.5.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. It just felt weird. Like okay, I'm done. I don't want the pressure of trying to do anything beyond that. Because it's like I said, I think that there are people that do this and they're like, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. I never do that. I don't. When it comes right down to it, I will say, hey, thanks for subscribing. Appreciate you. It's really, really a blessing. But overall, I don't care if people subscribe or hit the thumbs up or anything like that.
Okay, so the OG, it's legit stuff. Then what we see here is, so you have 118 videos, okay, 10,000 subscribers. So
yeah, 3 years ago. I
3 years
started doing
ago.
3 years. Yeah.
Okay, and let's see, what are your most popular videos?
That's a good question.
Debian, Hyperland.
Debian install, probably.
Yeah, Debian Bookworm installed, minimally installed 2 years ago. Hyperland, 80.
That's weird. Hyperland. Okay.
Yeah. So do you focus just in Debian or do you explore other distros? Do you distro hop?
I never do. When I first started the channel, I thought to myself, I'm not going to be the guy that actually does like distro reviews. I'm a believer in Debian. Like I said, I do this for myself. I would never pretend to like go and say, yeah, I think it's a waste of my time. It's just to me, it's just a waste of my time to do those, to do those videos. I would much rather put more effort into something like a window manager, like Qtile or DWM or things, or the scripting that I've done in the last, especially in the last like 6 months to a year. I've done a lot more scripting and project building. It's like, here's my project called Butter Bash, and it's it's to basically kind of create your own a more modular Bash RC experience with a lot of aliases and functionality and stuff like that. And then I have all of these window managers that I love, and have them in an install script with my theming and everything fully, like, so like if you have Debian minimal and you run one of my scripts to install DWM, for example, which is what I'm running right here, it's going to be exactly the way it looks on my screen.
Now, let me ask you something. And this is something that I wonder myself as well. Why going through all this? Why the need to optimize our workflow that much? I'm not sure. Well, it seems that you're the exact same way, but I try to optimize everything. I also have an install script. It deploys my Mac, installs all my applications, download my .dot files, everything. So I just run that script and it set up the Mac for me. And why do you go through all this? Like, because it takes away a lot of time. So what's the reason?
For fun. I think it's a little fun. It's very geeky, very nerdy. But I am like, when I first started the channel, I was like, oh, I need a name, JustAGuy. JustAGuy. I am truly just a guy. I have no background in software, other than I have worked for software companies, but I've never been a developer, but in any stretch, way, shape, or form. And so for me to like push myself and be kind of like, be out of my comfort zone a little bit, which is not scripting, is more of a mental exercise and fun for me to like try to learn something new, especially because I'm almost 60 now. I'll be 60 in a couple months. So it's one of those things where it's just like, this is cool. I like it. It's not a stupid use of my time. So
yeah, it's pretty fun. I like I like playing with all this stuff. And what's your background? Because you're not a software engineer. Do you have any um sysadmin related skills
No,
or something, or
no,
no?
no, no. Actually, this was, so when I got out of high school, I started. I was a good. I know I was a soccer player, and I played college. And during that time, I started coaching as well because I was making good money doing coaching as well. So I coached a couple high schools, and then finally got to coaching college soccer. Did that for 5 years, and then at some point in my mid to late 20s, one of these head coaches said, "Hey, Drew, can you come? And I've got a brand new team, got a lot of freshmen on my team. This is a college, and I need somebody to come in and like help me." And I said, "Sure." I said, I don't have my degree yet. Can you
Mm.
like hook me up with the like classes and stuff like that to finish my degree?" So I was end up like I was 26 or 7 when I actually ended up with my degree, which was in information systems, which is more of a business a business type of degree than anything else. So I ended up though working for a software company, which is a civil engineering software company, very heavily into building in the Microsoft development network.
Mm.
And so I went to Redmond. I met the guys out at Building 51, which is the VBA, the VBA initiative out in Redmond, and went to Vegas and did a bunch of like demos of software there and everything. But my experience is more on the business side of it, like director of business development for the company that I currently work for. And so yeah, I'm kind of tech adjacent, if you will.
Oh, okay. So it's more on the business side of things then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I thought you were like a sysadmin or
No,
something.
no, I wish I could say I'm that smart, but I happen to be probably, Christian, I'm probably the dumbest person on your show up until this point. So,
Man, how can you say that? That's rude on you on your side. No,
no, I've seen the heavy hitters on your show. I'm gonna look dumb. All right.
no, no, man, not at all, not at all. Now, what are your thoughts on Nix? Have you used Nix?
No, no. I have got a lot of friends, Matt included, Matt, who is the Linux cast, and one of the guys that's in part of Matt's community, this guy Donald, who calls himself D-Dubs, is like such a good dude, and we like exchange ideas all the time. We talk about documentation and things like that because I think that one of the things that's kind of underserved is when we actually have these projects that we're working on. A lot of times, documentation is like the last thing we think about. And for anybody who's like trying to like use the stuff that we've built, they need to actually be like guided. So, but no, Nix is not something that I have even attempted to try or anything like that. I stick with what I'm good at. And so, no.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have thought about which Linux distro to try, and to be honest with you, Debian is the one that I want to give a try. I
Oh, yeah.
installed Arch, and there's a lot of stuff that I don't know. I have a question as well for you on
Okay.
this new one that is coming out. You probably know which one it is. A very popular distro created by this guy DHH. Do you have any thoughts there?
Omarchy. Correct?
Omarchy, that one. Yep.
Yeah.
You're in a safe space. You can see it here. He's not even.
No, I don't see.
He's
I
not
don't.
even gonna watch
I don't
this.
know enough about it. I would be really silly if I had decided to like have an opinion on something I don't know anything about. From what what I'm aware of, it's an Arch-based scripting. He's basically scripted up Arch to install like Hyperland and other things as well. Like I said, that's what I think. But again, I don't know. And I don't use Hyperland. So that's not something that I've been that I would be like thinking about at all. I use old stuff. Like I say, I'm like a really old, so I use old stuff, right?
And that's something that I want to ask you as well. Hyperland, I don't understand all of that fancy medical lingo that you guys talk about. I don't understand Xorg, Hyperland, and Brody has explained it. DistroTube, Matt have explained it, and it just goes right over. I don't understand. So, what do you use as the window manager then?
So my window manager, like I said, I have a bunch of projects that in fact, there was one script during Bookworm, Debian Bookworm, which was 12, that would install up to 9 different window managers. But my base is DWM. I use DWM. I don't know if you know anything about DWM, but basically
What is it?
is a super lightweight window manager. It's built by these guys called the Suckless Tools guys. And the one thing that's interesting about DWM is that the source code is written 2,000 lines or lower for the entire window manager. But you can add functionality by patching it. And so for my project that, I have a lot of people that have either forked my DWM or started, I guess. And I use more, I use patches to make the functionality, like build the functionality out. So at the end, when you have something like DWM that has been patched, you're getting exactly what you want, and so I use actually 17 patches to actually build out my version of DWM.
And is there a reason for that? Because one of the other ones that I have heard about, which is old, as everyone says, it's old, is i3. Is it something similar to i3 or?
So I think if you're a starting window manager user, first of all, I would say if you're not a Linux user, never start with a window manager. Never.
Well,
that's just.
I use one in macOS. I'm pretty familiar already with titles, stack mode, and so I know the terminology. I know how they work in macOS, which is not the same at all on Linux. But I kind of have an idea.
My go-to window managers for newer users, though, and Matt and I fight about this all the time. He says i3, like you just said, and I say bspwm. And both of them are, there's no wrong answer there. There really isn't. DWM would not be my starting window manager but bspwm is solid. Just so solid. And I have a really nice config for bspwm. The thing that's different about, if you're looking at those two things, bspwm versus, let's say versus DWM. DWM is written in C. Okay. And so the configuration looks like it is written in C. bspwm uses basically a bash script. For its configuration. And that's it. I mean, it does everything. I think my configuration for bspwm is like, I don't know, less than 100 lines, probably more like 70.
So why do you go with DWM then and not bspwm, which seems simpler to set up and configure?
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, I get it exactly what I want. And bspwm is much more modular. Okay, which means that you've got the bspwm or BSPC engine, and then if you want a bar, you're going to have to add a bar. It does not come with a bar. So you would use something like Polybar, for example. Okay, and then if you wanted you're going to have a hotkey daemon or some type of key binding, and that would be SXHKD. So you would have these kind of modular things.
Oh, I love that.
If you want some type of notification, then you're going to have to use Dunst. If you want, and so it's kind of built together. That's why sorry, go ahead.
And that is with bspwm, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because I don't like to have all of the stuff built in. I want to use a different keyboard mapper. The one that I use in macOS, which is Kanata, I would like to use that on Linux because I don't want to learn a new one. So if bspwm offers that, that is great. It doesn't come built in with one already, right?
The SXHKD is actually written by the same guy who creates bspwm.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
But it's a completely separate file too. It does not go in the configuration. Some people really like the idea of having the configuration include all of your key bindings as well. bspwm does not follow that convention at all. It just completely separates everything out into its own little compartments.
Oh, I like that. Actually. Okay, Debian, bspwm. Okay, that seems cool. And let's go back to the YouTube channel.
Okay.
Or you know what? Let's read super chats, because we have a super chat there. I'm gonna be reading this every few minutes. So Tony is asking, big fan of the interviews link. Appreciate that, Tony. Would love to hear Drew's thoughts on Butternotes.
I think he's trolling me just a little bit. So Butternotes is it's a project that I've been working on for like months and months and months. And I keep telling people, don't use it. It's not ready yet. It's not ready yet. It's at Codeberg, but I can show you maybe later when it's time to actually do my demo or what have you. But basically everything is command line. So if I say, if I'm taking notes, it's basically a staging thing. So I just say note and then write something down, and it just appends to one file. That's all it does, really. That's all it does. So there's a note taking where it just kind of appends to one file, and then there's a to-do list.
You want to show it? It would be easier.
Not really, but
no.
Okay.
Up to you. If you don't want to show it, it's fine.
Yeah, I'll do it for a few minutes. Yeah.
Okay. Let me know when you're ready, and I'll switch to your screen so we can take a look.
Go ahead.
Okay. There we go.
Okay. Yeah. So what I'm looking at here is my thing. It's called Butter Bash. I actually build Butternotes on top of Butter Bash, and so with my Bash script, let me just explain that real quick. So all of the Bash stuff that I have, it's actually in my .config Bash, and then there's aliases and FZF and all this other stuff. So on top of that, though, is this note-taking thing. And I just say B because that's the, let me just go ahead and let me clear the screen. Oh, can't do it. Let's see. There's the note-taking thing where it just says, I want to enter notes. So I say link, interview, and that's it. And so now when I list, that's the one thing. Oh, I didn't go. There it is. Okay, so it added it. There it is. Okay. So basically, like I said, I'm not really like ready for prime time yet, but basically what it does is it appends to this one thing, and then you can go back and review it. There's also a clipboard function so that when you just have something, like if you go like, I don't know, like this, okay, and then copy that, and then you hit, I have it on a key bind. It's a super shift V for paste. You'll see up here where it says clipboard save to notes. Okay.
And you have to be in the terminal for that, right?
Yeah. Everything's in the terminal.
Okay.
So now when I list all the notes, there's what was in my clipboard, and that's been added to my notes.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know.
It's like a master file. And everything is added to that same file, right? All the time.
Yeah, pretty much. And then it's basically for staging. So it's like I'm going to take a bunch of notes, and then you would want to copy it maybe over into a project. So I just say new project, and I want to blank, and just call it link, and there it is. It just pops up, and I can start this project in my Neovim config, and that's pretty much it. It's simple, it's totally simple.
And what is its use case? Do you use it like to organize stuff, or? Yeah,
pretty much. It's just like I said, you can use it to like, it's like, oh man, for example, I want like a series of commands, for example. I just want to copy them and throw them into a note really quickly. and oop, and that's, I just want to throw them into a note really quickly, and that's it.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
it's for simple things. It's not like Obsidian or anything like that. It's never going to be that way.
Okay.
It's just going to be something super, super simple. It's like
To
one or two
capture.
lines. Yeah, just capture stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Makes sense. Okay. Now, going back to your YouTube channel, why did you decide to start it then? Like, what's the thing that made you, okay, oh, I think I have what it takes. Let me start this.
I think a lot of times, when I say I just wanted to have fun. I just wanted to like see if I could do it. That's the truth. I really didn't care about if anybody watched it. I think more than anything else, at the very beginning, I was like, I'm going to do something so that I don't forget how to do something. I'm going to like, hey, here's the i3 configuration that I've been working on for the last, I don't know, month or whatever. And then all of a sudden, I do a video on it so that I was like, oh yeah, okay, now I remember how to do that. So yeah, it's as much as note taking. I have a bad memory, so I want to put things in videos so I remember how to do things. And then after a while, it was one of those things where people were like, hey man, appreciate what you did. I really liked your workflow, for example, on that demonstration that you did. It was like, oh, that's really nice of people to actually like comment about how useful it was to them. And so it kind of gives you a little bit of steam. But at the same time, I mean, have no desire to be on like a regular schedule. I think it's been like a month or close to a month since I've actually put a video out. And that's fine. I've been really busy with other things. And like I said, I don't feel the need to, if I don't have anything to say, I just won't say it. That's the bottom line,
Oh, okay. Okay. Awesome. And what is the IDE that you use? You're using Neovim. I see. I saw the video.
I have a Neovim config. So
okay, I saw that video. Yep.
And I am a terrible. I may be the worst Neovim user on the planet. That's how bad I am. Okay. I really like the street cred that you get with having a Neovim config that looks as good as I think mine looks. Okay. But overall, I can't use it for anything. I'm terrible. So I end up using Geany as my IDE. I love Geany. It's a GUI text editor. It's actually not. Categorizing it as a text editor is doing it a little bit of a disservice. It is a super lightweight IDE. And I use it literally all the time. And the way I've configured it is like very specialized when it comes right down to it. So
you want to show Geany, like, or you have private
sure.
stuff there?
No, I don't have anything private, actually. Let me go
and let me ask you something before you switch over.
Okay.
Why haven't you? Because I had that problem with Vim, I have been, I used Vim, I don't know, like, let's say 15 years ago, right? The first time that I tried it, it was like, what is this shit? Like, why do people use this HJKL? This is dumb. And I was like, oh man, it took me minutes to do something. And then I had to press I to enter insert mode and then escape. And escape was all the way there.
Yeah.
And I tried it once and it was like, this is not for me. I'm going to Nano and I use Nano in servers all the time. And then I tried it again, and I never stick to it because it was too difficult. It was like, damn, this feels horrible. I don't understand why people do this. But the Primeagen is the one that, how can we say it, motivated me or inspired me to use Neovim. And I said, okay, it's going to be difficult. I was doing a lot of scripting for MikroTik routers back then, and I used to do it in VS Code. And I said, okay, I'm going to try to do this in Neovim. I did, and I didn't stop. but it was horrible. I hated it. It was difficult. It
There's
was
some growing
painful.
pains.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing. If you can get the Vim motions, and that's where I fall short.
Is that why then?
By
Vim motions.
like a lot. Yeah. I mean, I think I was better. Like I said before, back in the mid 90s, I was working for a software company, and I was actually working in conjunction with one of the PhD developers. And he's like, "Hey, can you do this for me?" And I'm like, "Sure, I can try." And so I was using VI, and I think I was better then than I am now. And I think maybe it's just a product of age or something, but still, yeah.
How does the saying go? You cannot teach an old dog new tricks, or how is it?
Maybe. I think I have the potential to do better than what I currently am. But overall, it's really hard, especially because like you want to be productive. You don't want your time to be like wasted and it's not wasting. I think I'm overstating a little bit.
It is to a certain point. Yeah, it is.
But if I'm happy using the Geany, I guess I don't really need to. Although, like I said before,
but the
quick
ego
edits.
The ego feels it, and it's like
I just need to feel like I'm part of the community. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah?
You know what I'm saying? I need to feel like I need to have some cred here.
Yep.
And
so do it for your ego, so that it's like I'm a Neovim user.
Right. Exactly.
But
so
yeah, but what happens then? It's like, no, the motions are not for me. And did you try them recently? Did you ever say like, okay, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna take it seriously this time, and it doesn't matter how painful it is, I'll stick to it?
So I to your point, asking about like server stuff, and I have been working on the Linux cast server, and I set up SFTP, and I set up I had Nextcloud working on there, but it was not, we haven't been really happy with the way Nextcloud's been working. So I set up a Git, actually using Geany on that server. And so in order to modify the configuration files, I had to use something. Sometimes I would use Nano, sometimes I would use Micro, but I also had Neovim. And so I got marginally better, but at the same time, I'm not, it's hard for me. It really is. It's hard for me to be as productive as I want to be in the short amount of time that I'm trying to devote
do something
towards that. Yeah. So yeah, overall, like I said, I use the GUI more than anything else, and Geany has been, Geany's really good. It's really stinking good. So.
Okay, you want to show us Geany then?
Sure.
Okay,
sure.
I'll switch to your screen.
So I have nothing actually on the screen right now, but if you're looking at Geany, there is a, this is the tree browser, and this is not part of Geany right out of the box. You actually have to use a plugin, and you kind of like cherry pick which plugins do you want to use. I'm using add-ons and AutoMark and stuff like that, but then if you get down here, there's the Git change bar, which I think is essential, especially if you are doing projects that end up on Git. And then there is a Markdown previewer. And then there's a few other things, including split window. But here's the tree browser. And there are preferences. And if you are someone that is interested and you want to use Vim motions, there's a VI mode plugin that you can use, and maybe that would be the thing that would, like, I would have to, if I do :WQ, it's actually going to write and quit that, right there. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and just open up a couple things. Let's go to actually, you know what? Let's do this. I'm going to go to Codeberg. There we go. Codeberg and bspwm. And let's look at this. And then let's also look at, because I wanted to show you the SXHKD real quick. Okay.
Okay.
So, and then like I have keybinds too that, like, okay, I don't want to see the tree browser anymore. So I just kind of like, I use a Alt period to get the tree browser out of the way. But this is the configuration file for bspwm. Again, I'm not demonstrating bspwm today, but actually it's a lot less than what I even said. This is a 50-line configuration file.
Oh,
and
okay.
these are the startup. So if like it gets the cursor, Dunst is the notification application, and then you've got Picom, which like if Picom, for example, my Picom allows me to move things really smoothly. Okay.
Oh, and it feels smooth, like you said. The animations.
Yeah.
I don't see screen tearing.
No, it's really smooth.
What is Picom then? Is it?
So Picom is a compositor. Okay.
That's where you lose me. I have heard that word like 100 times. I don't know what it is.
So you don't need a compositor. You don't have to have, especially on X11 window managers. I think people use it for the pretty animations and stuff like that. It's solely for making things look smooth. You don't. So do you need it? No.
Okay.
It's not necessary. But like I said, like if I was to do this, I could move things around the screen.
Yeah,
really
it looks
easily.
cool.
So this is my DWM. So I'm demonstrating DWM right now. But anyway, there is a polybar. So the bar is separate. Like I said before, it's modular. So you have to have a bar if you want a bar, and it just is the one thing that launches. And then you have SXHKD. So your key bindings are managed in one file.
Okay.
You know, Super B Firefox. Super Shift B opens up Firefox in a private window. My terminal of choice, which used to be Ghostty, is now Wezterm.
Let's talk about that. Why?
Okay.
Why?
So I
Was it hype? You're in a safe space. You can say it here.
Wezterm to me, actually, let's do this. Go to my config, Wezterm. The config is actually written in Lua. And at some point, I was really big into writing Lua code for the awesome WM window manager. So because that window manager is using Lua as its as the config. Okay. So I was like, oh, I really like this. It's hard for me. So it took me a really stinking long time to learn how to use Lua at all.
Yeah, it's different.
But overall, there was I was like, oh wow, this is really, really good. There's a lot of good like modifications and how to put in your key bindings. It's like navigation, so on and so forth. Anyway, I ended up liking this a little bit more than Ghostty only because I'm on Debian. Okay. There's nothing wrong. There is absolutely nothing wrong with Ghostty. At the time, Ghostty had a problem with it broke at some point, especially during I don't remember exactly which version. It was like 1.0.12 maybe. Anyway, at some point it stopped working on Debian stable. I don't think it has that problem anymore. I think they fixed it. But I kind of like, oh well, let me just move on to something else. I really like Wezterm. I don't know how to like convince anybody else that I think it's like really, really stinking good. But overall, it's like, okay, open up a browser and then, like, I can split and, split again. And then, I don't know. I'm not good with the terminal nearly as much as I've seen other people be. But like if I hit Alt W, it just like start, and then I can also open up new.
Yeah, and splits are just here's a hot take. Splits are just flexing. Is that how kids
I don't use them. I don't use the only thing that I like about it, like if I was on so GDW is like a shortcut, so it's going to my .config suckless DWM. And if I hit the split, okay, it actually puts me on this in the same directory. That's that's about as much as I use, though. If it's right,
Okay, so you're in Wezterm and you're staying in Wezterm. What are your thoughts on Kitty?
I've used Kitty. The one thing that I tried to use, well, there's nothing wrong with Kitty. There really isn't. I can't say anything bad about Kitty. I end up choosing Wezterm because I thought that the configuration was more to my liking. That's just the bottom line.
That's about it. Okay.
Yeah, I could actually get more out of it. I thought it was really fast, and I put my money where my mouth is. I thought this was so good that I actually contributed to the project, and I think that's important. By the way, just in case anybody's listening to what I have to say, which is usually nothing. Free and open source software sometimes needs our help. It's like there is when you find something that you really like, I think you should contribute in some way to the project, I think. And I'm not going to be able to help in any other way than like a few dollars here.
Financially,
you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah. So I think that was something that I felt really strongly about.
Yeah. I'm on that same page as well. If you like something, if you use a product that you find useful, and if you can just give something to the developers. Like I had an interview with this guy, Kovid. He's the creator of Kitty. He's also the creator. You saw it? Okay.
Yeah.
He's the creator of this other tool called Caliber for reading books. I didn't even know how good Caliber was, man. It's an amazing tool, actually.
Yeah, it is.
Have you used it? Yeah.
Yes, actually, Calibre. Yeah. I think it's. I mean, I don't know if that's the way to pronounce it, but my wife, big fan.
Yeah.
Big fan.
Yeah. Converts between different formats, and my image of Kovid wasn't the best before the interview, and I'm a fan. And now I'm in Kitty, and I'm not using tmux anymore. I haven't been using tmux like over a month. Have you used tmux? What are your thoughts on tmux?
I don't use it. I'm just not that good. So I was going to show you the one thing here. This README is a markdown file, and I have a markdown previewer. I just hit like a button.
Okay.
And so anything that, like, if I was to make a change here and just say, minimally.
This is in Neovim, right?
No, sorry. I'm still in Geany.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm still
in
a
markdown preview. So it's basically an IDE, like you said, a lightweight IDE, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So did you get used to it and you still stick to it because you got used to it so long ago? Or what's the history with Geany? Like, why that one and why didn't you go with something else?
You know what? That's a good question, and I'm not sure how I can answer that. Like, by the way, I'm gonna close this real quick. Don't say. And because I was gonna open up Neovim real quick. So I think I saw a video that DT did on Geany, and I was like, oh, I like that. Yeah, that's the one. And so when I first started using it, I was just like, I need to use it like the way DT said to set it up. And then I started like really using it. And that's when I started like saying, oh, wow, yeah, I can make this a lot more conducive to my own workflow. Because, I think that when you have a keyboard centric workflow, it takes time. It takes time to develop it. And so you have to kind of like modify your, even when you're using like GUI text editors like Geany, you should definitely try to like modify it to keep that same workflow.
Have you thought about this? Have you thought about switching or turning on the motions in Geany? At least
I have
to get used to them.
I have. Yeah. By the way, I think this looks very similar to what you have as far as your Neovim config. Does this look normal to you?
Oh, actually, it does. It does. The markdown file, I see the headings. The question is, I see on the left-hand side, there's the gutter. What is this? This is Neovim, right?
This is Neovim, yeah.
Okay.
This is the one I set up for myself so that I try to make myself like use this more.
Yeah. I use folds a lot. Have you used folds or no?
No, I'm not. I'm too stinking dumb to do that. I don't know how to.
No, but it's not complicated. Let me show you something real quick.
Okay.
And that made a huge difference. I'm gonna switch to my screen right now. Okay, so if I switch to another repo, right? This is my notes repo. I always open this file, this markdown, because the other ones have a lot of personal information in them, right? But this is what made a complete difference for me. And this is why I left Obsidian, actually. I used Obsidian, man. I talked to my wife about Obsidian for months. Plugins, I set it up, man. I spent hours on it. But I like this a lot about Neovim folds because I like navigating between different headings, you know, so I can fold them level 2, level 3. I can navigate easily between the different headings. So this is one of the things that I love about Neovim, actually. Markdown files, folding stuff with just a single key map. I can unfold them. I can fold them back, level 2 or level 2 and level 3. I think that's pretty useful. Or if I want to jump between headings, I have other key maps. So I'm just jumping between headings
So
here.
how are you opening up the folds then? Just are you putting your cursor there and just hitting enter or something, or?
Oh yeah, hit enter. Yep, I configure that as a key map. So if I hit enter, it toggles the fold. Yep. But yeah, I find that pretty useful. Let me switch back to your screen so you can show us your config.
Oh, okay.
I see the code blocks. I see the headings. What plugin do you use? Is this render-markdown.nvim?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, looks pretty neat, man.
Thanks. Actually, you know, when am I go over? Not this one. Where am I? Yeah, it's actually I was in the right spot. If I was to go to my Codeberg, there is like a Neovim project, I would say, and then it actually shows all the plugins that I'm using, and so you know people get an idea as to how it's kind of set up. And also mentions. Remember, I was telling you about the Neovim Debian file.
Okay.
Yeah, so that you can install it in case, you know, because I said it right here. It says Debian 13 has 0.11. Oh, sorry, 0.10.4.
Okay.
And this is going to be 0.11.4. So it's, you know, it's a full version up, and you know all you have to do is go and get this file. If in case you're a Debian user, anybody in the chat or whatever, if you're a Debian user, you can, and you say, oh, I want Neovim, but I want the newest version.
Yeah,
right there. You can
Tony
just
better
download
watches this. Yeah, Tony better watches this because I don't know.
Actually, he mentioned that I had this on the Linux cast this past week. He knew it. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And what are your thoughts on other IDEs? I'm gonna switch back to our screen.
Yep.
Okay. What are your thoughts on Emacs? Have you ever? It's a rabbit hole.
Honestly, I've tried. I really did. But I don't know that I give anything that much like mental power because I can't. My brain doesn't work that way, you know. So no, I'm just like I said. I respect the heck out of people that can like make that sing, like you know, like these guys that were on your show, like DT. You had the two Neovim guys and the two
Emacs
guys, and I was like, yeah. I mean, they're so good. They're really so good at it. I just can't do it. I just can't. You know, it's too hard for me. I don't know. And maybe if someone like sat down and said, here's baby steps and stuff like that. But essentially, I am more interested in just like doing something like these projects, and that would take a lot off. That would take a lot from that time, you know, like, you know, working on something that I can contribute, you know, that's the thing I'm more curious about. Cause like, if you looked at that list on my Codeberg page, it's like there's Neovim and there's i3 and there's bspwm, and there's a whole lot of stuff out there that I try to contribute to anybody that wants to like use it. And that makes me feel good about, my contribution to FOSS and the Linux community, but because I feel like I've taken a lot, and I just want to like, give something back as well,
Yeah. You learn a lot from all the videos, man. I have learned a lot too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And giving something back is awesome, just like you say. And talking about other operating systems, I want to hear your thoughts on that too. Have you ever considered or have you ever used macOS? What are your thoughts there?
So I told you that my son is in his 20s now, and when he was in high school, it was it was an iPad school, and so in order for him to, I thought, to have kind of like something cohesive, I bought him a Mac Mini, and I was so bad at that it was just like, hey son, so he would have to like, hey, this isn't that hard, Dad. You're making this way harder than it needs to be. But overall, it was troubling that I couldn't get, like, it wasn't, it's like, hey, you got to drag this into this spot here, and I'm like, oh, okay, why? So anyway, I have tried. I'm just not good at it. So, I come from a Windows background, for, like I said before, where, like I said, I've been to Microsoft. I've actually written articles in trade mags that had to do with Visual Basic for applications and stuff like that back in 30 years ago now. I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to support it. I don't want to like use it for my work. And it's so funny because, like, my wife is a Windows user, and the reason why is because there's certain things that you can't get to, you can't run on. You could use on Mac, I guess. That's the one, but she couldn't get anything to work on. She couldn't get Quicken, for example, to work on Linux. Just it doesn't exist.
So what does your wife use? Does she use Linux?
No, she would use Windows. She has to use Windows because we have, like I said, the company that she works for has Quicken, and that there's no getting around that. So, and there was a time period too where she had to be on Outlook, for example. So it was just, what are you going to do?
And what about your son? Is he in love with
macOS? He's a Windows user, and most of it, he's a Windows user.
Windows games,
games,
Okay, but we hear, especially in Matt's channel.
You asked me about games.
Yep.
Christian, I'm not going to know a thing about games. Not one thing am I going to know about games.
And have you tried to convert him to Linux?
Of course. Of course. Does he listen to me?
Yeah.
No, of course not.
He knows more than the old man.
Of course, he knows way too much for his own good.
Oh man, yeah. And what about you and Windows then? What's the history there? No. Oh, why did you leave Windows?
I was actually using Windows before it was before Windows 95. And that was a big deal. I mean, back then it was like it was DOS, and then I think was when I was on Windows 2.1 maybe initially.
I didn't go back that far. No. I used Windows 95, then 98, then 2000, which was the millennium.
Okay, so the story is, though, when Windows 95 came out, it was just like a complete departure from what they were doing. Because back in the day, I'm going to date myself now, but back in the day, prior to Windows 95, you would have multiple. You would have a lot of software that was the industry leader in certain things. For example, any type of word processing usually was done on WordPerfect. Anybody in the chat? WordPerfect, okay.
There's
And
just
then when
kids
Windows,
here.
yeah, and then when Windows 95, sorry, when 95 came out, they destroyed everybody in that office space. So they came out with Word and Excel and, and PowerPoint, whereas WordPerfect and Lotus 123 and Harvard Graphics were like king until Windows 95, and then they were destroyed. So that's just a little history for you kids out there.
Okay. And why did you leave Windows then? Like, what
I
happened?
hated it. It got so bad. Windows got so bad, and not to mention it failed constantly. It seemed like, at least from my perspective, it was just like, okay, it's on this hardware that ends up like, and I'm having to like reboot like, several times a day, and just because it just kept failing. And it's like, oh, the hardware doesn't work with the software, and then it was like, is it the hardware or is it the software? So you have to replace the video card, for example. I don't know. It was just a mess. And it got worse and worse because of the advertising that that ended up showing up in the OS, And so it's one of those things where you have an opportunity to use something that is community driven. And so that is one of the reasons why I go with Debian, because of the community driven project. It's built by volunteers for the most part. And to other people's point, is it a new user distro? I would say no, actually. Because people that are making a transition from Windows, for example, or Mac, usually are of this kind of like mouse-driven point and click paradigm, and they're going to want to see things like really pretty graphics and things like that. Where if you're in Debian, even if you install like GNOME or something like that, you're going to get vanilla. There's going to be no extensions. There's not going to be anything that's special about it. It's going to be vanilla KDE, vanilla GNOME, vanilla Cinnamon, and so on. And you're going to get an XFCE, by the way. I want to make sure I put that out there, because I still think XFCE is like outstanding software. So, yeah, but there's, when you're looking at something like Linux Mint, it's been curated. It's like it's specialized in for the user experience, especially for new user experience, or even if you're looking at Ubuntu, it's been curated and massaged to make it a really cohesive, like, user experience. So yeah, Debian maybe not be for everybody, and I get that.
Now, is Debian the king of all distros?
Of course. What are you talking about, man?
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. Is there any discussion otherwise? No,
it's the daddy. Yeah.
Yeah. No. If not for Debian, who is Ubuntu going to stand on the shoulders of?
Yeah, of course.
Or Linux Mint, or any of these other distros that use the Ubuntu kernel and stuff that like Pop OS and so on. It's like, if not for Debian, then how are these guys going to stand up?
Yeah.
All of the servers, most of the servers, I would assume, are running Debian or Ubuntu, right?
Yeah, yeah, true.
Now, what are your thoughts on AI? Like, are you into AI?
Wow, that's a long one. So on my network, I have a NAS that is running true NAS scale.
Okay, single server.
I just have one server. It's over there. It's a true NAS scale. It's I built it myself.
Okay.
And it has 6 disks, I think. I think it's like 6 disks. Anyway, it has the ability to run or self-host certain things. It just now, true NAS scale just got a better like Docker interface. Whereas before, it just kind of had its own like dedicated applications. So I have self-hosted my own OpenAI and Llama to build my own kind of like self-hosted AI interface. So I
Okay.
actually host my own AI interface. Some of it is private, so it is open source and or so it's actually running on the server. And some I'm using an API so that I am like actually asking questions that get tossed back to the server and back again. Overall, though, it is fascinating to me, and
Okay.
I have been very like intrigued with how the development of these LLMs has like evolved.
For the models that you're running locally,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So do you train them on your personal data on your nodes or?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, so I'm not sure if you're asking me about like anything that's like Claude code or something like that, or
No, because
uh,
you say that you're running Llama, right? Or Llama.
yeah.
Okay. And do you use your nodes? Like, because do you take notes? That's something that I have to ask. Do you take a lot of notes and do you have a lot of note files, like markdown files and stuff? Or yep.
Yeah.
And
Sometimes it helps. Yeah, sometimes it helps in formatting if you're passing Markdown to an AI model. It helps with the formatting a
mm,
little bit. But more, I actually do more of that like by hand.
okay.
But when I ask, I actually for my job, I have something very like I have to run valuation models.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes the valuation models could benefit by having some type of research arm. So I use actually the research portion of the AI models more than anything else because it's pulling from like sources, many sources, more than I can in a 6-minute period. So I mean, it takes it like 6 minutes for it to run some of the models that I'm asking it to like pull from,
Mm-hmm.
and then it gives me some type of valuation information that I use for my job.
Oh, okay.
Um, so
So you use it for your job mainly then.
that's a major part of it. Yeah.
Mm, okay. Okay. And do you do home labbing a lot?
So yeah, I have, like I said, I have the TrueNAS scale, and I run like searching. It's SEARXNG. So I'm actually using a private search engine for all my browsers.
Okay.
Um, I am running Fresh RSS,
Okay.
and that is something that I use primarily. I mean, it's a news aggregator, basically, is what it is. But the cool thing that I found recently is that, like, with all this really beautiful software that's out there, that's FOSS and on GitHub, GitLab, Codeberg, things like that, all of them have an RSS link. And so when you put that RSS link in the Fresh RSS feed reader, it actually shows commits that have been made to these software projects. And so I go in there sometimes and I'm like, oh, look at that. Ghostty just went up, a version because you could see the commits rather than go to all these different locations and stuff like that. The feed reader shows me a list of everything that's been updated.
Mm,
Um, so there's that. There's the OpenAI stuff, and then there's one more, but I can't remember what it is right this second. But
okay.
yeah, home labbing is something that I do.
Okay. Awesome. So you're not against AI. You think it's a useful tool and you actually use it.
Yes, I mean there's going to be some caveats there.
Uh,
Do I want AI to make decisions? No, I don't
uh,
want AI to make decisions.
mhm.
Do I think that AI is causing people to lose their critical thinking? Yes, I think that is a major issue, that people's critical thinking is getting like hampered, and it is a tool that could definitely make you dumber if you allow it to.
Mhm.
So yes, I see there are pitfalls.
Mm, yeah, I agree. Agree with that as well. Okay. And
Do you use AI like a lot, or are you? Because I know that a lot of coders are not.
I'm not a
they're like,
coder. I'm not a
oh,
programmer.
oh,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. I do more infrastructure stuff. I do
okay.
more, but I do a little bit of coding. I use it. Yes, I use it.
Let me ask it this way: do you use it for like if you get an error message when you're doing something and you like I'm trying to install something and you get this like weird server error message and you like copy it and put it to AI and go, what does this mean? Do you do that or?
I used it a lot at the beginning because it was new and I was like, okay. But I noticed that I had to, go around in circles a lot. So I tend to look for that in Google still, like the
Okay.
old way, because I find a lot of answers still in Stack Overflow. Even if the AI is trained on it, it usually doesn't know. I think it doesn't have all the context. I don't provide enough context for it to understand the issue and what's going on. Sometimes you just want to be brief with it and you want it to understand you, and it's not. You're not even explaining well. So uh, I use it sometimes for errors, but I prefer to look for them. I don't know, depending on the day. Yeah, but we could say I do. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay.
What about you?
Yeah. Yeah, I do as well. I mean, like I said, it sometimes the research part of it, I think, is just valuable. And I was telling you, my son actually did an internship with a large company that his goal was to come up with an analytical. Well, it was an analytics problem basically, and it took him kind of like I think 10 or 12 weeks to actually map out the solution, and he had to use AI in order to come up with a solution that could be replicated. Because he not he has he's going to have a degree in it's not really economics, but it's more specialized in that. But it's going to be economics and statistics,
Mhm.
and so he has these kind of like tools that he needs to like use in order to come up with these business models that they're using for their human resources and things like that. So anyway, the business application of it is here, and it's not going to go anywhere. So when it comes right down to it, is it necessary? It kind of is at this point.
Mhm.
Is it helpful? Yes. Is it dangerous? Absolutely. So, it's hard to, yeah, it's hard to not, I don't want everyone to, say, hey, Drew thinks it's great. Yes, but, it's also very dangerous too. So,
Yeah, it is great sometimes, but sometimes it's really dumb as well.
yeah.
So you lose a lot of time. I use it a lot. Let's say that I want to come up with a key map in Neovim. It's just
Hmm.
like, okay, look, I want you to do this specifically. I give it all the specifics. Sometimes it gets it right, sometimes it doesn't. I have to go and
Right.
review everything and tell it, no, what are you doing here? Do this, specifically. If I don't know the language, it's useful, but still have to check on what it's doing. Some other times it just wastes my time, so I rather do it myself. Uh, it is useful. Yeah, it gives me ideas sometimes, and then I can go and look in the documentation and figure it out on my own. So it's good for ideas, but I trust it. I don't trust it. I don't know. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. It's just a tool.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, sometimes it's useful actually. And are you a single monitor person or multiple monitors?
Yeah. One.
One.
Most of the time, yeah. Like we were talking about before we actually started recording and stuff. Yeah, I use a 34-inch ultra wide monitor for my window manager. That's all I really need. And to Matt's point, Matt from the Linux Cast is always just like DWM is like the perfect one monitor window manager because it just because it doesn't handle multiple monitors as well as some of the other ones, frankly.
Mhm.
But for me, it's just like it's butter. It's just pure butter.
Yeah. And why did you decide to go with a single monitor? Not because I see that people nowadays use 2, 3 monitors, even a vertical one there.
Yeah. I tried actually. I have it set up over there to my right, and where I was like doing a vertical monitor with a regular, like, 1920 by 1080 monitor, just normal aspect ratio and stuff. And the one thing that I thought was kind of cool was actually loading either a web page or code in that vertical monitor so you can see more real estate. That was kind of a cool thing. But no, I don't need it. I just need the one monitor. And to, would I want to use the monitor that I'm using for this? No, I would want, I need my ultra wide monitor. It's such a helpful thing for my workflow.
Okay. We have DT in the chat. Hey, DT.
I see him.
How's it going? Yeah. So single monitor. I cannot focus on 2 things at a time. So I also use a single monitor. I cannot pay attention to 2 things.
What size are you using?
32
Okay.
inch monitor.
Yeah.
Or yeah, I think 32 is the size. But yeah, I don't like ultra wides. And the reason is because if I switch to my laptop computer, I want the workflow to be exactly the same. So I can work the exact same way on my laptop and on my desktop. Like, have you felt that when you do you use a laptop or no? Not at all.
No, in fact, I rarely use a phone. I rarely use another monitor. Another like setup other than when I'm recording for YouTube.
Okay.
That's the only other time I use like this setup that you're seeing right here is like, to your point, 1920 by 1080 is the best way to record your screen.
Yeah. For the viewers.
For YouTube.
Yeah, for the viewers.
I have done 2 videos in the past that used my ultra wide. They thought it was really cool. I mean, I think Matt even said something like, dude, I like that. I like that. So I did it again, but then it was just like, nah, it's not that great. It's not as good as he said it was. So,
but could viewers see the small letters, right? Because the font, I guess, was too small.
Question.
Right?
I don't know. I tried to change the resolution and dumb it down a little bit, and then was going to send you a video of what it looked like on YouTube. But then I was just like, forget it. Never mind. It was going to be too much trouble. So I just ended up unplugging one monitor in and then plugging in just a normal monitor.
Okay.
For this application.
Okay. And hold on. I have some spam in here. I don't know how to block this. This. Hold on a second. If viewers no, it's gonna block this. Block. Okay. There we go. There was a message coming from Twitch chat. Okay. And regarding the window manager, I see that kids these days like to have all their tiles, and they have tiles this size. You cannot even see a damn thing when you're using tiles, right? So are you into tiles, or you're into a single application on the screen at a time? What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, most of the time it depends. I mean, okay, so, and I'm going to go back. I'm going to sound very redundant here, but on an ultra wide monitor, I can get 2 windows basically.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And they're side by side, and it makes a lot of sense for me. Beyond that, it gets a little cluttery. So I'll just either move it to a different workspace, or since I'm in DWM, it's called a tag, not a workspace. So I move it to a different tag, which I have 12 tags that I'm using currently. So there's plenty of spaces to put stuff. So yeah. No, I think that like I said, if I was using a monitor that had like the aspect ratio that I'm looking at right now, I would not want to be on. I would actually want just one window, I think, per tag. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. On the ultra wide, I think it makes sense. But yeah, the reason that I don't use ultra wides is because if I would switch to my laptop screen, I would be basically
Yeah.
crippled, and I couldn't work. The workflow would be completely different, and nah. So
Yeah, I only work on in one space. That's
oh,
it. Yeah, I work on, and I'll like I will walk out of my I'll go out of my way just to go back to my normal workspace.
mm,
Like it's like some people will like, hey, I'm doing something on my phone, and it's like that. I'll go and like if I have to like look at a web page almost, then I'll actually like go out of my way to avoid using my phone and actually go to my screen that I normally sit at. Yeah, I'm not good. I'm not good with the phone stuff. So
yeah. I try not to use the phone as much as possible because sending messages for me is painful on the phone. It's like it takes me a lot of time. I make a lot of typos.
yeah,
I don't enjoy it, to be
I
honest.
actually have. I actually use my computer to send my text
Yeah.
messages.
Me too. Me too. Unless I'm not on the computer. If I'm on the computer, I'm on the. I don't know. I look something on the phone. I need to reply. I never do it on the phone. Or if I'm, yeah, yeah, only if I'm outside, I have no choice, right? And I have to
Yeah.
do it, but it takes me too long. I make a lot of typos. I don't enjoy it. Yeah. And what about keyboard? What do you use as your keyboard?
This is a Keychron.
Huh?
Um,
It's plugged in.
hmm.
I guess you cannot show it, right?
No, it's not.
Okay. Okay.
I don't remember what model it is. I can look if you're that interested, but it's a Keychron. Yeah, I'm not going to remember.
Okay, okay. And have you thought about split keyboards?
No, heck no.
Why
No,
not?
no. I
That's
don't
just for
know.
kids.
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen a lot of it's just not for me. It's just I'm old school. And I have a Keychron mouse too. But I think that's an M7 by the way. M7, is that right? Yeah. Yeah, no. I'm not there's a lot of keyboard enthusiasts out there. I'm just not one of them. I like this one. I handpicked this one. I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to do a little research to get myself a new keyboard. My other one was just too loud. It was too loud. And when I was like, I was typing, it was just like, man, I was recording something. And it was just like, man, that's really stinking loud. So, yeah, I just decided to get something new. I like this one though. This one's really nice.
And is it silent switches or no?
Oh, dude.
Do you like silent ones or you
It's
like the
not
noise?
silent. No, it's got a little bit of sound to it. What is it? Brown keys? Does that sound right? Or
I think
purple
yeah,
keys
Browns.
or something?
I don't know
Yeah.
about keyboards either. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a hardware guy, not even a little bit.
No.
Yeah. This one's nice and it sounds really good. My son thinks it's the best keyboard he's ever seen in his life. So that gives me a little dad cred. So nice.
Yeah. And what about the layout? You use QWERTY or you use one of the other
Yeah.
ones?
No, this QWERTY.
Have you thought about switching to
Dude, I can barely type as it is, and you're gonna try to like get me on a different like keyboard. You gotta be out of your mind. You gotta be out of your mind.
Yeah, me neither. I'm in QWERTY and I'm not switching away from that. I did get a split keyboard, but it was just because I had forearm pain. I think it helped. I want to believe it helped. I have to tell my wife that it helped because it was like $400 or something. So, but yeah,
That's a lot.
yeah, it's a lot of money for just a keyboard. And let's see. Let's talk about how much time do you have left? You have to run already?
No, I'm good. I'm good for
You're
a little
good? Okay.
bit. Yeah.
Let's talk about not technical stuff. Are you into movies? Which ones would you recommend?
Um, I I actually watched you and Tony talk about this a little bit. I think y'all have a different like you guys are big thinkers. So I liked Dune. I think that was one of the things that Tony was talking
I
about.
didn't like it either. You watched it?
No, I liked it.
Oh, you liked it?
I
Yeah,
liked it.
Tony likes it. Everyone likes
Yeah.
it except me. Yep.
Well, first of all, I read the books.
Oh, okay.
And I also there was a film called Dune in 1984 that came out, and I was like a huge fan of that movie as well.
Okay.
So when this one came out, and I listen, I think the movie, the spectacle of the movie was fascinating to me. You know, it had nothing to do with acting. It had a little bit to do with storytelling, but I really thought that they filmed it in a way that just made things look amazing.
Yeah, it looks good. Yep.
Yeah. And if you see it, listen, if you see it on your television, it's not going to be nearly as good as if you saw it in the theater. There's a few things that I think I want to see in the theater, and that would be one of them. Like that kind of like immersive experience, you know.
Now, DT is saying in the comments that the audio mixing on the new one, because
Really?
there's two movies, right?
Yeah.
I just watched the number one. Are you talking about the number one or the number two, DT?
No, I think they're both beautifully filmed. So I have seen Hans Zimmer actually perform some of the soundtrack stuff that DT is talking about. It was amazing. It was amazing watching it in a live performance. It was amazing. Yeah, but yeah, he's right. Number one is probably superior when it comes down to it.
Okay.
But you know what's funny is I watch probably more television like shows than I do watch movies. You know, like like if I was to Game of Thrones and watch like the entire like almost binge watch the the whole 8 seasons or 6, I don't know how many seasons it was, but that kind of thing where you get like totally caught up in it. And there's a few things that are like guilty pleasures and stuff like that too. It's like I really like that, but nobody else does type thing, like Ash versus Evil Dead. It's like it's hilarious to me, or there's a couple of Canadian shows that one's called Letterkenny. I think that's hilarious. It makes it just, I know it's not a lot of people are familiar with some of the shows that I've watched, but I think that's so funny.
Did you ever watch The Office? Are you a fan or no? Or you hate it?
No, my son is a massive fan of The Office though. Yeah.
You didn't like it?
I didn't watch it. No, I didn't watch it.
Come on.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. And so he'll also say, I can't believe you didn't watch Breaking Bad. And it's just, he's like a huge Breaking Bad fan. I'm like, I tried it once or twice, and I didn't get like immersed into the storyline or something. And he's like, you got to get to season 2. I was like, well, then I got to watch the whole.
Which one? The Office, right?
No. He's talking about Breaking Bad.
Okay,
yeah, he's talking about Breaking Bad.
Yeah, if you ever watch The Office, you have to get past season 1 because it's not that great, season 1. But just keep watching season 2, then you will not be able to stop. It'll reach to a point in which I wouldn't recommend you to keep watching. I'm not gonna say anything, but I'm a big fan of The Office. I love it, and
okay.
Yeah, so you're more into shows than movies.
I guess. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that would be fair.
Yeah. And are you into music?
Yeah, I used to play music. I've seen like you've got a guitar in the background, I think. I don't know if I can see it right now. But,
it's darker.
I used to actually play. I used to play an acoustic duo.
Simon and Garfunkel.
No, not that. No. But we used to play like locally in like bars and stuff like that when I was.
Oh, really? Acoustic?
In my 20s. Yeah, just 2 voices and 2 acoustic guitars, and we would play a lot of all kinds of stuff, REM and some U2 songs can be easily translated into like acoustic, and so yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, and did you leave the music behind? You don't play anymore?
No, I don't, and it's not because I don't enjoy music. It's just like life. Gets in the way. And when you start,
you cannot do 2 things at once, right? Or you play with your config, right?
Yeah. This is a lot easier than me going back over there and listening to myself either play or sing. And that's like, oh man, where have I gone? What have I become? You know?
Yeah. And which bands would you recommend? Do you want to mention two bands?
So I guess let me just name one right now. Well, I'll name two. Okay, so I guess I'm getting older and I'm getting more I don't know what the right word is, but basically I'm kind of digging Americana type music or folk country Americana type music these days. And so there's a guy that I actually saw in Florida, and his name is Steven Wilson Jr. And I think he's really stinking good. And it's funny because he's not well known. But the one thing that was I messaged him on Instagram about a couple years ago, and he had like 10,000 followers or maybe less on
This
Instagram.
guy?
I think. Yeah.
Okay.
And now he's got like or 500,000 Instagram followers now, and he's getting big. He's getting pretty big. So there's him, and then I guess the Lone Bellow is someone I like right now.
The Lone Bellow?
Bellow,
Like
yep.
this?
Yep.
What is this? What type of music is it?
It's kind of, I've seen them do acoustic sets. I've seen them do kind of like bands stuff. It's a trio, obviously. And they are kind of in the Americana type space. So yeah, they're good. They're really good.
Okay. Yeah. I haven't
Yeah,
heard
it's not
about.
for everybody. It's just, but I dig it.
Yeah, but it's good so people can, know about new music as well. Because I got tired of the music that I listen to all the time, and I don't listen to anything new. So I'm in a loop, and I'm stuck, and I don't enjoy music anymore. And are you into video games?
Not even a little bit.
No,
Not even a little bit. No.
no.
I did used to use my son's PS5 and play like FIFA every once in a while. That was the game that I would play. Because soccer game, so made sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what distro would you recommend to someone just starting out? Then, Drew, what would you say?
Yeah, it'd have to be either Pop, Ubuntu, or Linux Mint, one of those three. Probably Mint. Depends where they're coming from, I guess, too. If you're a Windows user, I probably would go with Linux Mint. I think there's nothing wrong with that. I really like what they do in terms of like appealing to a newer user. Yeah, that's not earth shattering. Everyone says kind of Linux Mint or Ubuntu or Pop or something like that. Have you tried any of these before?
Servers. I always run
Just
Debian.
just servers, just
Yeah.
Debian. Okay.
Just servers. Yep. But
So have you used a Ubuntu server as well, or have you done work on Ubuntu servers?
Yep.
Because that seems to be more in line with their future, I would say.
yeah, I used to use Ubuntu servers a lot in the past, but I was like, man, but why don't I go to the daddy, right? Why do I use Ubuntu? And I was like, nah, I don't need to use Ubuntu anymore. So I just switched to Debian, and I have been running all of my servers in Debian. A lot of the documentation is Debian related, right? I run my own DNS servers. I have 3
Okay.
servers. I use Bind9. All of the documentation is Debian, focused. I run my storage servers as well. I use Gluster. It's old. I know I should be using something else, but I don't need Ubuntu. Debian works just fine on servers. I even run Kubernetes, Docker Swarm. Everything works fine. So yeah, Debian. And that's the reason why I wanna give it a try on the desktop as well. Since it works so well for me, at least on servers.
Yeah.
Wanna give it a try.
Yeah.
Yours
That'd be fun.
looks pretty cool, to be honest. So that's what I want.
Can I do a little more of a demo for you?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Let me switch over to your screen.
Yeah,
You ready?
sure. Yeah. So this is, if you're looking, this is DWM, and I have 12 workspaces, and I'm using, we call them tags on DWM, but basically, essentially, they're workspaces. Okay. This little thing here, and again, this is something that I've everything is kind of like built the way I designed it now. This is the up here would be the layouts, so you could switch between layouts. And this here,
What do you mean? Like you can switch between?
Yeah. So I'm just going to open up a bunch of things. Okay. And so if I click on this, it's going to change it to a tiling, a different type of tiler. So
like master, right?
Yeah, master and stack. Exactly. Okay. And I'm just going to switch these between these two. Okay. But in my configuration, if I hit Super Shift L, it actually tells me all the layouts that I have in my configuration. So column layout, centered, floating, and all of these kind of like, let's go to deck. Okay. And it basically, it only allows for 2, but you can still switch between. I know you can't tell that I'm switching, but I am switching. Let me try a different one here for that. So let's say grid. How about that? Okay. So it makes everything equal. Or if I want to, I can say vertical columns, just columns and stuff like that. So you can switch between these layouts. Okay. If I move one to, let's say, the next workspace, which is B workspace 6, I just have to use Super Shift 6, and it's moved it. And if I go back to 5 or Super 5, now there's those 3 there. But this thing will say, because that's not, everybody doesn't like for when you move something to a different workspace, they don't necessarily want it to follow. Okay, so like what I just did there.
Oh, you just want to get rid of it, but you don't want to follow it.
Yeah, you just want to get rid of it. Okay. So if you do that, if I click up here, now it's not going to follow anymore. So I just go Super Shift 6. All right, I'm still on workspace 5, but now 6 has two different windows rather. Okay.
Okay.
So with my DWM, I use a Super H keybind. And what this is doing is it's showing a Rofi, so that all of the keybinds that are actually being used, you can say, oh, look, you can just say Geany right there. And so that is Super E.
In case you forget them, right?
Yeah, in case you forget. So it's basically a helper script that parses the keybinds from the 2 different configuration files.
Okay.
So it's basically a script that I wrote for that specific thing. Okay. If I use Super Spacebar, it's just my run launcher, and I can say, oh, I want the Z terminal or Z text editor or something like that. Okay. So same thing. If I open up a few things, okay, and you go, you know what? I don't want that in my stack. I can either drag it away from the stack and then either resize it or something like that, or I can say Super S, okay, Super S, and it makes it sticky. So if I do go to a different workspace, that's still going to be there.
Okay.
So you can keep something on the ever present on the on your monitor. Let me go back over here. If I also want to, I can say Super Shift Space, and it basically takes it out of the stack and starts to float it. But if I don't want it, I say, oh, I wanted to put it back. So I just say it toggles it back by saying Super Shift Spacebar again, and it puts it back in the stack. Okay. The other thing I do is I use Thunar. I think that's very common. I use Thunar, and then I'm just trying to think of something that's really cool.
What is that?
Cool. Thunar is the file manager.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's all. There's nothing sexy about file managers, really. But like I was saying before, if you look at this as my Codeberg DWM setup, there is an install script here, which basically says, it's going to install all the packages necessary for you to have the same experience that I have with my Debian minimal install. Basically, I'm installing the very bare minimum on my machine, and then it runs through and installs all of this stuff so that it gets to be what you're looking at right here.
Now I have a question for you. When I
Sure.
install Debian, I also use the minimal install, and I don't
Okay.
install a graphical user interface, right? Just
Yep.
terminal, because I don't need a graphical user interface on my servers. It doesn't make any
Right.
sense for me, right? So
You
what?
would install exactly the same way, Christian, and then the only thing you would have to install additionally would be Git.
Okay.
And then run, and then say git clone. Let's
go get your repo and then execute
you
a
just
script
go to
or
here,
something.
just say git clone this,
Okay.
and then run that installer, and then you would get this.
Okay. Makes sense. And what graphical user interface do you go with when you install Debian? Or do you install it without
None.
a graphical?
Nothing.
So
yeah, it's completely headless.
So it installs, your script installs the graphical environment as well.
It's I know that you don't like this word, but it installs Xorg.
Okay. I don't even know the difference between Xorg and so what is Xorg? Is that the old one?
Yeah, it's the old one. It's not the new one. This is the old one. So Wayland would be the new one. Xorg is the old one.
And is that a bad thing?
If it depends who you're asking. For me, it's fine. I mean, it works great for me. There's a lot of reasons why they decided that they were going to move on and stop developing any part of Xorg. I guess there's security issues and memory leaks possibly, but I've had zero problems. Let's put it that way,
Mm-hmm.
So as far as documentation, I think I've documented quite a bit of what gets installed and some of the reasoning behind it. And then there's keybinds, there's layouts, and then there's all the patches that I'm using to make sure that to add functionality to the DW. So, and then I actually have the reasoning for each one of these packages that has been installed. So anyway, this is my version of DWM. I'm kind of like, it's one of the things that I'm actually proud of, of the projects that I've done. So
now,
yeah,
I have another question for you.
Yes, sir.
Why are you on Xorg and you don't move to Wayland? Is there a reason for that? Just gonna connect my phone, but I'm listening here. Yeah, go on.
Okay. Yeah, I guess the window managers that I've been using for years are on Xorg, and I am hesitant to move on because this is what I know really well. And there's really I have installed Sway as a window manager for Wayland. In fact, it was actually kind of popular on my GitHub when I was using that. But this is just what I know. It's just what I know, and since we talked a little bit about productivity, this type of system makes me very allows me to be very productive.
Okay.
Is there anything wrong with Hyperland? No, there's nothing wrong with Hyperland. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. In fact, the thing that makes Debian sometimes not that appealing is the fact that you can't get Hyperland to work on Debian.
Oh, you cannot?
No. It just does not have the latest and greatest packages necessary for you to use Hyperland. Okay.
Makes sense.
So, like with WL roots and things like that, you're not going to be able to run it. Even let's just say Sway FX right now. Sway FX or Sway, both of them, compositors for Wayland. Both of them, I think, need WL roots 0.19, not in Debian stable. It's not in Debian stable. So, can you get Sway and FX? Can you get Sway to run in Debian? Absolutely. You can get it to run in stable, no problem. And actually, it's just a sudo apt install Sway, and boom, you've got Sway. But if you had to do, if you had to do Hyperland, no, it's just, there's a couple guys out there that know how to do it, but it's not going to be unstable. It's going to be either testing
Yeah,
or
and that defeats the
experimental or-
purpose, at least to
Yeah.
my thinking of Debian, right? Because
To me, yeah, I don't want to do that. I don't want
okay,
to.
I'm on the same boat.
I don't want to have updates. You know, when I do an update, you know this even from doing server
servers,
stuff.
yeah,
stuff
just
like,
security updates, basically.
it's just
Nothing breaks.
That's all I really care
ever.
about. I just
Yep.
want I just want a hardened OS.
Mm.
You know, occasionally there's something like, okay, so recently Firefox ESR had an update. When Debian 13 first came out, it was still using like version 126 or 8 or something like that. Really old, okay? But since Firefox ESR is actually part of the security packages or security repo, it got updated. So now I'm using 140.2, I think, or something like that. It's definitely not the nightly version of Firefox, but it is definitely stable. And if there are any updates for the ESR version, it's a security update.
Okay. Now, something that I don't enjoy a lot is, or at all, is stuff breaking on me. And I don't want anything to break on me, because when I go to the computer, I go with the mentality, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I wanna sit. I don't want my computer to get in the way. And let's say OBS not working. No, that would drive me crazy. Or it's something as minimal. I don't care what it is. I just don't want something to break my flow. And even if I'm not gonna do something productive, I don't want to deal with troubleshooting stuff that I don't want to troubleshoot. And sometimes it happens with Neovim, and I don't enjoy it, right? But it's okay. I use Neovim a lot. I'm used to it, so I fix it and I just move on. But not in the operating system. That's one of the reasons why I like macOS. I update packages. They have never caused issues. I'm not sure if it's just me or what, but works great for me. Now, is that the same deal with Debian? What was the last time when something broke on your operating system? Do you remember?
No, I don't.
Can you update confidently?
When Debian 13 came out, which was June of this year, it was 2 years, actually more than 2 years between Debian 12 and Debian 13. So between Bookworm and Trixie, I think it was like 26 months in between those two releases. By the time, when Debian 12.11, came out, it's so rock solid. It's so stable. There's like very few updates that you would have absolutely no issues with breakages, especially if you are using the Debian packages, But I guess a lot can be said, same thing with Arch, if you don't want to update, you don't have to. Okay. If you get it working, you don't have to hit the update. But my thought was, with Debian 13 coming out, I thought that there were some minor issues that needed to be resolved. And so I waited till Debian 13.1 to say, yep, this is better. This is better, So it took a couple months in order for the Debian team to actually like harden that release a little bit more, even though it took, like I said, 26 months in testing branch in order for it to get to release. So yeah, no, I don't like if I was to run and it's like update right now.
Update and upgrade. Are you ever scared? Are you like, okay, I'm gonna run on update and upgrade, and I don't know what's gonna happen? Or you're confident, you're like, I'm just gonna update, I don't care.
I have 8 packages that need upgraded. One is the Brave browser, which
you don't care if it breaks. And it's
then
not gonna break.
7 are part of the stable security updates. OpenSSL, libssl-dev, basically just stuff for security. That's it. So anything that was security is just security related. So that's the extent of, like I said, if you were going to install something outside of the Debian packages, then you're going to get updates. Like with Wezterm, for example, I use the nightly version of Wezterm. I use a Brave browser, and I'm using, it's going to get updated. But overall, if it's a deb package, no, not so
Okay.
much.
Yeah. And how do you install Brave, by the way? Like, do you add the repo or something, or what do you do? Yep.
Yeah. That's that for that. Yeah, I do. In fact, I was thinking because I needed a Chrome.
For the call.
When you contacted me about being on here, I was like, I don't have a Chrome-based browser on this machine, so I was like, well, what do I do? Do I go with, So I just installed Brave just to have for this, basically.
And then you go back to Firefox, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Why are you on Firefox?
As a free and open source software advocate, I think that it's good to support that kind of even though, I mean, we can talk about Mozilla and not in a very attractive light in the way that they run their foundation, but overall, I like to support the free and open source software. So.
Okay. I wanted to ask you as well, when it's time to upgrade Debian, do you just wipe out your computer and install the new version, or do you actually upgrade versions?
No, that's a good question, actually. I think a lot of people would do what you're suggesting. It could be like, well, let's just, you could just run a dist upgrade and go from 12 to 13 in one shot. No, I didn't do that. I actually wiped the machine and installed it from scratch because, invariably for for all of the stuff that we do as, again, I'm going to use the quotes here, content creators and a bunch of trial stuff and everything.
You leave a lot of trash in
I just
there.
there's stuff that I don't want anymore. And, I'll save the files, that I think are critical. Mostly they're going to be on my NAS anyway, because I actually, my primary directories that are in my file manager are on the NAS. So regardless, if I lose my PC, all of my mission critical stuff is on the NAS. So, and it's got, like I said, six drives of redundancy. So it's good to go. Regardless, no, I think that I don't like to just clean out the trash, I guess is my point. Just clean out the trash and start from scratch. And I've built plenty of scripts that allow you to install your like you were talking about for your Mac. It's an automation process where you start from scratch and you just have it run, and it does everything for you. So yeah, it doesn't take very long. I can install Debian in 6 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I can install Debian in 6 minutes and be up and running in 15.
And aren't you scared, like if it's a new version of Debian, that some of your scripts are not gonna work?
No, I mean, yeah, I'm not scared. I wouldn't say scared, but should I run all these scripts? Yeah. And did I find a couple things that needed to be tweaked? Yes.
But you deploy like a new VM. You deploy like a VM, test your script
I
there.
suck at that, dude.
No,
I'm so bad at VM and doing anything that's actually would make my life easier.
so you just do it on your main machine. You're like, okay.
No, I have a test machine, a couple test machines over there that I just it's I don't know. That one machine has had Debian on it minimal 1,000 times.
Okay.
And like I said, it takes me 6 minutes to just kind of rerun it, just doing a base install. And,
okay.
Yeah, start from there. Yeah, I wish I could. I've asked people, hey man, I need you to help me try to figure out how to do a virtual machine. It would probably save me a shit ton of time, but I don't know.
And I noticed when you showed your screen, that wasn't GitHub, right? What was that? Where you have your files?
Yeah, it's Codeberg. Yeah.
What is that?
Okay, so GitHub and GitLab are both corporate run entities.
Huh?
And so Codeberg is a community run project that is located mostly in Germany. It's in Germany. And so, like I said, as a FOSS advocate, they are probably the easiest transition for me to like be okay with, and have it be as robust as possible. I have, like I said, I have installed a Geany or Geany to do, if I wanted to host my own Git, I could do that, but I think this is a better solution for me. So yeah, Codeberg is what I've migrated all my GitHub projects to, because it's a philosophical,
Okay. Okay. So it's hosting, right? It's like GitHub basically, but
it's exactly like GitHub, except it is community run.
okay. Same commands, or you have to do
Yep.
Codeberg something.
Nope.
No, Git.
Everything's Git. Yeah. No problem. I had no problem making the transition over. Not at all.
Okay. How long have they been in the business? Like, is it something that
Good
you
question,
can
and
trust?
I don't know the answer to that. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah. I mean, it's been around a long time. It's not like they haven't, but like I said before, with a couple projects, I put my money where my mouth is, and I have now contributed to Codeberg and have become a voting member of of Codeberg.
Okay. So, what are your thoughts on proprietary stuff then? Do you use any proprietary software?
Yeah, I mean, you have to, don't you? I mean, you really do. I mean,
That's what I use. That's that. Yeah, yeah. That's what I do. I'm not like.
I'm not like, it's not the devil or anything, but when it's okay. So Discord. Yep. There you go. I use Discord, and is it proprietary? Yes. I'm trying to think of some other things. Not sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure there are other things. I'm just trying to, but I mean, okay. So I use a lot of stuff for work, that has to be done. It's like, I used to have, well, I mean, Gmail. I mean, if you're using Gmail, I guess that's,
Yeah, but you prefer to look for an alternative that is not proprietary, right?
I mean, if you can, if you can. I think that it's not, I think it's, I mean, I think that the free and open source software is so special, and is so underappreciated even by the people that use it. I think that because I know that there are project maintainers out there that get a lot of flack. It's like, hey man, your stuff doesn't work. Well, dude, I'm doing this as a courtesy, or as something that I'm super interested in, and I don't get paid. So
they come to you and say that.
not me. I mean,
Okay.
I'm not
Other
that,
projects. Yep.
I'm not that
Yep.
big. I'm not that big a software guy. So no, but I'm just like saying, it makes no sense to me that that free and open, be respectful, because these guys have put their hearts and souls into these projects, and you need to understand that they're not just serving you.
Yeah.
They're serving their own conscience and their own soul. So back off, man.
Yeah, and there's a high chance that they're not getting any money out of it at all, right? Like the effort and time that they spend doing this, it's not worth it. But they do it because they use it or they love it, But yeah.
No, I feel like I feel like I can't really contribute a lot when it comes to code. That's just not something I am capable of doing. I mean, sometimes I've given I put in like a feature request, for example. I think this would be cool if this did that. And then I'm like, if I'm just putting that out there as a potential feature enrichment. But overall, I'm like, okay, so I contribute sometimes monetarily to these projects, because I think that they deserve to be compensated for how much I'm getting out of what they're putting in.
Yeah. So what should be the approach then? What do you suggest people that go and demand for features in an open source project? What do you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah, that's not cool, man. That's just not cool. You gotta, you know, you have to basically be very respectful. You have to understand that these people have put so much time, effort, blood, sweat, tears, whatever you want to call it, man. They've put a lot into these projects, and it's very personal and very dear to them. And for you to go to them with like anything other than
Thank you.
respect and
Mm-hmm.
thanks, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that needs to be changed. And there's unfortunately this is the world that we live in.
Yep.
You know, that's just the world that we live in, where it's not, you know, being respectful is less
Yeah,
common than it ever has been in our existence.
I agree. I go to a repo and only if I don't have an answer, I look around, I search the repo before I even ask anything because I know it takes time. You know, you posting a discussion or you open an issue, it's gonna take their time. They're busy people, they're doing something, and you just post a message there. And I'm always, you know, in that mood. Like, okay, first of all, thank you for the tool. It's awesome, would be nice, or I
Yeah.
searched, I cannot find this. Is there someone that could please help me? Courteous, polite, and
Yeah.
thankful, but I
I'm
don't
sure,
demand
I'm sure they appreciate that. And those are the ones that actually get bumped
answers.
up. They get bumped up to the top too. You know, I mean, there has been a couple things like, for example, Geany. You know how much I love Geany,
Hmm.
and I thought, you know what, I would really like a different color scheme for this. So I've contributed like 3 or 4 color schemes to the Geany themes project. That's the one thing that I have been able to contribute to, like with actual code.
Uh-huh.
So that was fun because I had no idea. I was like, you have to put in a what's a pull request? You
Yeah.
know, what is that? And so I
Uh-huh.
had to ask people how to do that stuff, man.
Yeah. So any final words? Anything that you want to say before we wrap it up?
No, we've hit so many things. I so much appreciate the community and yourself included. It's been such a pleasure that the experience that I have had hasn't been so much, you know, with the things that we've been talking about in terms of like troublesome interactions. It's been very, very respectful. It's been very appreciated both by me and by the people that I have been communicating with. I'm so thankful for this community. It's been very, very, it's been a blessing. It truly has.
Yeah. So I want to thank you, man. Thanks for, you know, giving back. Thanks for being here, sharing your time with us. Thanks to DistroTube. He was in the comments there. Tony was in the comments there as well. Thanks to everyone that, you know, watches this. Go and like the video. Go and make sure that you subscribe to Drew. Going to leave the link in the video description, Drew, so they can go and
Oh,
join
cool. Yeah, that's fine.
your channel. Also, I upload this as a podcast. Okay, so I'm going to edit the video. I'm going to release it. I don't know when I'm going to release it, but the same day that the video is released, I upload it as a podcast as well. So you'll be able to find it in all the different platforms because there's people that like to listen, not watch it. So you're going to find it there. I also want to thank the CEO, Web23, web23.com, because I have memberships. So that is what keeps the channel going, membership. So if you can support, that's awesome. Not you, Drew, but the people listening.
No,
Okay.
no, I'm sure you appreciate that, you know?
Yeah, yeah, I do. So that's it on my side. Let's just wrap it up. You have the final words, Drew.
Peace, love, understanding.